Hey there guys, it's Steven here again. Today I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Quest VI Realms of Revelations, I think it's pronounced. And this was a remake made for the Nintendo DS. So this is a game that had never before been released in North America. And I've heard from many Dragon Quest fans that it's a pretty excellent game. A lot of people consider it to be the best Dragon Quest ever made. So I've always been curious about this title and couldn't wait to try it out. And I did, finally. I just completed this game mere hours ago. And I thought that I would give you all my impressions of the game overall. So first off, the biggest thing that separates this Dragon Quest from the other Dragon Quest before it is the introduction of a second world, or a dream world as they call it in this game. With this world is basically a reflection of the current world. It's not always the same thing everywhere. Sometimes it's a reflection of the past. So let's say you're somewhere and there's a bridge that's missing. Sometimes you'll have to go to the dream world, and there you'll be able to get there and go to the area you want because the bridge will still be there. And then you'll go back to the real world and you'll have obtained some information, or you'll have gotten an item or a treasure or something and defeated the boss, whatever. But there's a lot of different ways to solve puzzles because of this dream world. It's kind of a little bit like a Link to the Past difference between the dark world and the light world, where both worlds are pretty much, they all have a lot of similarities, but they do have some big changes. But in this game, basically think of the dream world as the past. It's not exactly the perfect explanation of it, but in a lot of cases that's how it goes. Like for example, at one point you'll have to meet a certain guy, I think it was for to get a special item, but that guy has been dead for like 50 years or so. So if you go to the dream world, you're able to meet him, and then he gives you information on how to obtain the item. So it's a very neat addition to the series there. It really opens up a lot of opportunities, and it was really greatly implemented into the game. The other aspect of the game that the dream world really influences is the game storyline. So like I said, you'll need to constantly figure things out and go from one world to the other, and that it does add a lot to the storyline because some of these characters are dead in the current timeline, but if you go into the dream world, they're still alive. And at one point they do realize that, and it's kind of sad that they know they are no longer, like, they're part of another world that's not really real but is. It's kind of hard to explain. So it really adds a lot to the storyline. And I'm glad it is because besides the dream world, that storyline does feel a little bland. Because after the first like 12 hours or so, you'll have destroyed the main game's antagonist, or what you think is the final boss. And the true final boss you won't see actually until you face him at the end. So it doesn't really. It feels like it's missing just a little something, but that might be just an issue for me. The storyline is still pretty interesting. Don't get me wrong. It's just I thought it was missing a little something, but for some it might be perfect. Others might like it a bit less, but it's a 90s RPG, so you know it's gonna be a hit or miss when it comes to the storyline. Okay, next up, the gameplay is actually fantastic. The battle system, like all Dragon Quest, is really addicting. It's pretty simple, But you do need to use some strategy here and there if you want to make it out alive. It's not like you don't need an advanced knowledge and advanced calculus or whatever, like I like to say, but it's still pretty challenging, especially the boss battles. I did die quite a lot of times in this game, and what I like about this is it's not punishing that much. When you die, sure, you lose half your gold, but you don't lose your experience points, so if you leveled up, you still have that, and you simply respawn at the nearest church. You'll need to, of course, revive the characters that died, but besides that, that's all the punishment you get. You lose your gold, but you still have enough, and the most important thing for me is the experience points. You still get this, and gold is always easy to accumulate in this game. All you need is to grind a bit, and you'll get your goal. So it's not really punishing, but the boss battles are a great challenge, especially the final battle. The final battle, it took me quite some time to finally be able to defeat him, and it was a blast. It's a lot of fun to play. I know that one of my only flaws with Dragon Quest VIII, if you read my review before, I'll leave a link in the description below, is that I found that the boss battles were ridiculously easy in that game because of the fact that you had 4 moves and the boss only had 2. But in this game, even though most of the time that rule still applies, they really pumped up the difficulty when it comes to bosses, and I really enjoyed that. The best thing about this game by far is the vocation system. It's basically classes, and it's addicting as hell. Basically, you'll come to a point after a few dozen hours or so where you can select classes for your character, and every character can equip whatever classes you need, but they all have their own advantage and disadvantage, and they all come with different abilities that you can learn. And the way you level up with this class is simple. You select a class and then you do battles, and after a certain amount of battles you level up that class, and then you can max that class, and after that you can learn other classes. So it's really addicting. If you want to learn some more advanced classes, you need to first master the first classes, the basic ones, to get the other ones, and you really need to pay attention to those if you want to be successful in this game, and they're really quite critical if you need to master the more advanced classes if you hope to have a chance, especially some of the abilities that the later classes have, or you can't live without them. So basically the only cons I can find with this game is that the battle encounters are a bit on the heavy side. There are some dungeons that are really tedious to explore because of the battle encounters, but that's to be expected from a Japanese or a role-playing game. And like I said, there's a bit of a lack of a meaning in the storyline because you're basically only doing side quests, which are not really side quests, but still, since there's not really a main antagonist for the majority of the game. But overall, finally, this is a really excellent addition to the series. It's one of my favorite RPGs I've played yet on the Nintendo DS. It's a great remake, and it's a must-play JRPG. If you're a fan of Japanese role-playing games, you simply have to try this game out. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in the next one. And please leave a comment if you watch this and have something to say. Really want to hear what you guys think of this series, or this particular game, or what game is your favorite in the series, or what have you. Alright, so there you go. Thanks for watching.